Hey guys, this is class number two, and hey guys, this is class number two, and today I'll be showing you some examples. Examples as in how HTML really works, what is it, and I mean I did. The previous class was about it was an overview on HTML, and this class I will show you how to code in it. I'll give you a thorough breakdown on how to code in HTML and CSS. So basically, I have an IDE over here open, and this IDE means Integrated Development Environment. It's a place where you can program or code your codes or softwares, whatever it is. It's a place where you write your code and then you run it using a compiler interpreter or maybe just the browser itself, depending on what you are writing. So that's what an IDE is. It's an environment for you to type out your code and then run it, maybe inside it or outside it. So basically now this is class number two, no worries. Okay, so let's get started. You could use Atom, Sublime, or maybe a Notepad as well, but I'm using VS Code over here. You could also use those code blocks for C programs mainly. I'm using VS Code over here. So let's get started with it. Now I'm gonna create a new file name. Example, not example. Let's say this is a breakdown, right? Breakdown HTML. So here we have breakdown of HTML. Now in the previous class we spoke about tags, elements, attributes, and what HTML does, what it is, and all that. So today we're gonna see it uh, as I break it down thoroughly for you. So now we have over here you see we have a code, a coded way. So what is, now this is basically the building. This is where you start building or how you start building your HTML code. Now what is an HTML code? It's basically the code that you write to place your information in the in the browser. This is basically the main information of the web browser goes in HTML, and for CSS they design the content, and the HTML is basically the content of the web. Okay, that's how it is. Okay, so okay, so for now, what are tags? Before you, after you know what HTML is, it's a markup language. What is a markup language? Markup language is basically a language where you take words, right? You take those words, you take those tags, you know what they mean, you know what they do, and you just apply them the way that you see fit the contents. Now, okay, now there are many types of contents. Now, one contents of the parent nodes, the basic ancient parent nodes, and then there are nodes that describe a part of the content. There are codes that are there are tags, right? There are tags that self closes it or that you have to close it. So let's now what are tags? Let's get started for today's video. I'm gonna give a thorough breakdown about it. Now over here in the first line, we see it's written doc type HTML. What is it? Now this doc type HTML tells the browser that you are using a HTML5 or a higher version. It's not necessary anymore that you have to write it down, because now in 2024 we have the browser can support almost all of the previous HTML doc types as well as this one. What is doc type? It's basically a document. HTML is like a document, right? You have a document that tells you in English how the page is gonna look, and yeah, that's pretty much it. What is HTML? HTML is when you are typing out HTML, you gotta start with the HTML tag. What is a tag? Let me give you an example of a tag inside this body tag. For example, let's say a paragraph tag, right? Paragraph tag. Let's see. Okay, yeah. This is the paragraph tag. Okay, so I'm going to show you a paragraph tag, and this is a comment. To type out the comment, you will need an angle bracket, an exclamation sign, and what are these? Two slashes, no, not slashes. Okay, whatever they are. So this is over here. We have a comment and paragraph tag. You see this in line number 11. We have a paragraph tag. We now this P inside these angle brackets means a paragraph, and the and after the ending slash, it means it's closed. Now this slash forward slash means it's closed. Yeah. So basically, this is a paragraph tag on its own. And what an element is the same thing, but it talks about only what's inside these angle brackets. The element tells you that what's inside these angle brackets is the kind of element it is. That is what an element is. For example, let's say we have this paragraph tag over here. Now, the tag is the combination of what's inside these angle brackets and also the angle brackets. And the element is what's inside these angle brackets all by itself. So let me give you a brief example over here. If I type P, so there's a P over here now. This P is itself the element, and the tag is when you put angle brackets. Now, these angle brackets and the P makes up a tag, and the P inside it makes up uh, that is an element. So that's what it is. So let's say now how do we break down this HTML code over here? Now, like I say, doc type is needed to tell the browser what HTML version we're using, but you don't need to use it anymore. We are living in 2024 and we are far beyond it. It was back in the days like 2013 or 2015 somewhere. That's when this doctype was used because back then people were using HTML 4.3 or 4.5, maybe XML. That's when this doctype was really necessary. But ever since 5 came out, it's not really necessary at all. Yeah, so then we have the HTML tag that tells us that it's an HTML page. Inside now the head and the body has to go inside this HTML page. HTML tells the browser that this is where we typed our codes. Now over here in the head we have meta charset, meta HTTP, meta name, title document, and in the body we have. And then inside the body we will have the main text. The contents will go inside the body. The contents that are meant to be shown goes inside the body, and inside that head the contents that will tell the browser how you want your HTML page to interact. That will go, not interact, I mean how you want your HTML page to be known as. For example, inside the body tag, you can have tons of things. For example, there's a paragraph tag, then there's an anchor tag, then there's an image tag, then there's an UL tag. Inside the UL, you have an li tag. So all these goes inside the body. I'll be explaining to you what they are in a short period. Okay, so inside the head, what goes is that for example, where you have meta charset UTF-8, right? So this means that uh, the head. It means that it as basically the HTML is telling the browser that whatever is inside this head, for example, this meta charset, it means they will be compatible. The contents will look more like the contents that it looks like in Edge browser, or maybe the content will have device device with initial scale 1, or maybe it will tell the browser what kind of what type of characters they are. For example, UTF-8 is basically a unary format char set. You could use UCF60, UTF-16 or whatever. So these different things tell the browser that in this HTML file will have contents which are somehow related to all these things in the head, and then the browser will be like, okay, I get what you're saying. So this UTF chart set is like a character set. It's like when you have A to Z and a few numbers. So that's what the browser gets. That is what this tag is telling the browser. But when you come to the body tag is only for content. They are for show. They're not for telling the browser any secret information. And they will just tell the browser that this is that or this that is this, right? Yeah. So let's say inside the paragraph tag, I'm gonna type hello world. I'm gonna save it and open it. Now let's take a look at the body. Alright, now taking a look at the body, how it really works. We have a few tags over here, the paragraph tag, the anchor tag. Anchor tag is basically a tag that you use to enter links. So that enter links that will tell you that, and that will show you a way to the other links. I mean, let's say you wanna embed over here we write href. Href is basically a hyper reference. Stands for hyper, rep stands for reference. Now, if you didn't get what I said, now this p tag stands for paragraph tag, and you know what a paragraph tag is. They just type in what the paragraph holds, right? So inside this p tags, I just typed out hello world, and that means uh, the web browser will know that we're trying to type out hello world is inside a paragraph. And then we have this anchor tag and hyperreference. We're gonna, it's called like, this anchor tag is basically taking reference from a hyperlink which we are going to type within these codes, which are, okay, let's say www.youtube.com. Okay, and then over here we're gonna type out youtube.com. That's now we don't need this. Okay, now if this image tag is kind of the same, it has its own attributes. This UL tag is also the same, it can have attributes or not. Now we're gonna look at them a bit later. So let's run it. See, after I run it, it says hello world. If I press here in youtube.com, which I typed inside this anchor tag, your file couldn't be accessed. See, now it's working. Okay, now the thing is, when you're linking a reference to the anchor, you're gonna have to type out the entire link, starting with the HTTPS request as well, because it's important for the browser to really know what link you're gonna be you're asking for. Yeah. So I'm gonna type youtube.com, and I'm just gonna click on it, and it will take you to that site. I don't want to go there. I don't wanna. Okay, yeah. And then there's hello world over here. Okay, so now if I look at the HTML again, see hello world, which was up in the paragraph tag, it just showed itself. That is how we usually do. This is how we work in HTML. You know, you have to know the tags. You have to know where you wanna fit which tag. You need to know which tags are needed for layouts. You need to know which tags are needed or to set the height or the width. You need to know which tags do what, and then you have to know how they work. Now the question is how they work. Now let me show you how they actually work. Okay, so over here, now they work in two ways: block, inline block, or inline. Okay, so this is block, inline block, or inline, right? And what are these? For the time being, I'm going to keep it inside a paragraph tag. Yeah. Now, what is block? Block is basically, okay, now before that, how does HTML work? Now, there's one more thing I haven't told you, which I should have told a bit earlier. No worries, we can cover it now. That is box model. Another paragraph tag, box model. What is box model? Everything in HTML, everything in HTML works in box model. Imagine a box, it has wrappings in it, it has contents in it, it has uh, maybe to protect the contents you could use some paddings, maybe it has a margin or border to it. Yeah. Now if you take all that and imagine what block and inline is, it's gonna be like this. It's gonna be like this. Okay, let's say you have okay, let's create a div first. Now I'm gonna show you that. Now I hope you're clear with the paragraph tag and the anchor tag, that and how tags are used. I already told you all that. Now scroll a bit earlier, you'll find out what I mean. Now I'm gonna explain to you what the box model is. Div, right? Style equals to width 100 pixel, height 100 pixel, color black. Yeah, that's true. Let's see if it works. Before I launch it, I want to see if all this works. Now, sometimes you'll have to worry about HTML not showing a few things. That's because let's say we have another tag over here, the div tag. Div stands for division. This is what divides your HTML page at most times, right? Now we have a div tag, a style tag. Now over here, if I just colored it black, it wouldn't be that way. It wouldn't work because a div tag is an empty space selected by means of width and height. It is not a box, it doesn't have any container, it has nothing in it. It's just an empty space that has been marked as a territory for some work that is to be done, and that's why you can change only the background of the div tag but not the color. You cannot set its color, but you can set its background color. So a few of those things you'll have to keep in mind. I'm not gonna go through all that. Sometimes I mean you can just ask me questions. I will show you how those things work. Okay, so now we have a div. Let's go here. We have a div with the height 100 pixels and height with 100 pixels. Now what is this block, inline block, and inline? Now this block means this div, right? This div is a block level element. What is a block level element? A block level element is something that selects its block only, select that only area. Let's say you have width 100 pixels and height 100 pixels. Block will cover both the style and the height of 100 pixels, and inline block will cover both the block and the inline. What is in before that we know what is inline. Now let's say I wanna upload an image source, nothing, source alt, let's do nothing. upload any image at the moment. I don't think I have any image uploadable. Yeah. Okay, now images are inlines. Basically, now if I you see this over here, there's nothing written on the bottom left. It says nothing. It says nothing, right? Now the thing is, the reason why it says nothing, it's because there's nothing to be displayed. I didn't give an image. Okay, so I was talking about what inline is, right? Now images are inline. When you select an image or hover over an image, it will only you can only select that part. Now if I select, okay, see over here, if I select, if I scroll over this place, see, when I scroll over the body, yeah, over here, if I now if I select, if I hover over this paragraph tag, now you see the paragraph tag, it take, yeah, I'm just gonna keep it there. Now if I hover over the paragraph tag, now look at it, it's taking up all the space from the left to the right, all the space. Now that's because it's a block level element, which means it's gonna take up all the space horizontally, well, from its start. It's gonna take up all the space horizontally from the start. And if I hover over this image tag, it only covers its own area, which is why it's known as inline. That's why it's called inline. So basically this div tag and this div, we this div could have taken much lengthier space, but we already told it that within we already told it from the start to take up 100 pixels of width and 100 pixels of width, no more, no less. So that's why only this much of its width is only this much of its height and width is functioned into it. Now if I look at the paragraph tag, it will take up all the space from its start to the end horizontally, only in the area it was written. But the image tag, which is an inline tag, and this inline tag will take up only the amount of space, even though we didn't tell it, we didn't set we didn't set its uh, even though we didn't set its width or height, it's gonna take. But if we did set its width or height, this is how it would probably look. Okay, no, I will have to just style it out. I don't want to style out anything right now. It wouldn't change anything. Now if we try to change width or height, it would only have some empty space, but it wouldn't have anything anymore. Okay, so over here is the image tag, right? Image, overflow margin, overflow clip margin, content box, and all that. So let's take up some space. The pixels of order. Yeah. So now if I go back, see, now I set the margin of the image to 200 pixels to the right, margin right. Here I increased it by 200 pixels, and if I hover over my image, it shows it to 200 pixels to the right. But even though I hover over my paragraph tag, it doesn't show anything. It doesn't it I mean, I didn't even have to set its width or height. It just took all the space from the start to the end horizontally, from the left where it began and to the right where it's gonna end. It's gonna stay in the same line, and it's gonna select everything horizontally. And now with the div. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now this is what I mean by box model. You see over here this place, margin, border, padding. This is what I meant by box model. You know what? Now this blue, this area 64 into 891 into 18. Now that's basically the contents. Outside it is the first area outside it is the padding. The second area outside is the border. The third area outside it is margin. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now this is the box model: border, padding, margin, and the contents inside. So yeah, that is all. Okay, let's go back. Now I hope you have a clear understanding. Block takes up only the amount of space that is given to it and nothing else. Inline will take up whatever amount of space it needs, and inline block will also will take up or not only the amount of space it was told it, but also it will take up both inline and block. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Uh, so I hope I was able to give you guys a clear concept what block, inline block, and inline is. Now before I end today's video, I want to tell you something else. All tags inside HTML are either block, or inline. Keep that in mind. For example, and now I want to tell you something. Anchor tags, right? This is an anchor tag. Okay, yeah, like I was saying, my bad. I just zoned out for a minute. I just zoned out for a bit. Okay, so okay. Now anchor tag is an inline tag. Okay, now where now there's a problem with it. If I inside an anchor tag place an image, let's see what happens. I'm gonna reload it. Okay, it says nothing. If I yeah, it says nothing. Now if I try to style it, position related, right? Okay. Before I end the video, I want to tell you that in HTML and CSS, some tags are either block level tags, some tags are inline tags, some tags are inline block tags. What's gonna the thing is not always can you put a div level element, for example, a block level element, for example, a div inside an inline level element, for example, an anchor tag, and they create problems and they won't go well all the time. So sometimes when you go through a problem, it's best you check whether they're inline or inline block elements, and then you change your code according to that. So yeah, you just need to watch out for those things. Okay, that's all.